Hey guys, so I just did a recording, but it somehow cut off. So I'll just recap what we did. So far we have did the main, then we did geometric shape, and then we did sphere in the last video, and then we started our 3D shapes class. So then I went ahead and did cube. In cube we did the same thing, so we imported scanner, we created a public class cube, and we extended geometric shape. We created a private double temp1 equals 6.0. We created a private double length variable. Then we created a private scanner scan equals new scanner. System.in, we didn't use that, but we just created it. Then we created our constructor. It took a parameter which was length. We then called our constructor from the super class. So then we said super. We passed in cube for the name. Then we said this all length equals to the length of the cube that it's going to take. So then we created a volume method, public double volume. We did the calculation and returned it. Surface area, same thing. Did the calculation and returned it. Returned a double, since it's a double. So over here we overrid the methods from the super class, the abstract class, geometric shape. So we overrid volume, we overrid surface area. Then we overrid set dimensions. We set dimension is going to take a parameter. We set the dimension equal to this dot length. We returned user dimension, and we spelled it correctly. And then we overrid set dimensions. We overrid get dimensions accessor method. We returned this dot length, and then we overrid our toString, and we returned the same thing. We did the same thing for the cylinder class. It said this time we have two dimensions, so it's radius and height. We set temp1 equal to 2.0. So our cylinder's taking two parameters, a radius and a height. We use the super reference to pass in cylinder as the string for the name. We set this dot radius equal to radius, this dot height. So this global variable set to this parameter. Did the same thing here. This global variable height set to this parameter here and here in that line. Then we overrid our volume method, did the calculation, overrid the surface area method, did the calculation. Now we're at set dimensions. We overrid set dimensions. It's taking two parameters, one double user dimension 1 and another double user dimension 2. Then we're saying this dot radius equals user dimension 1. Then we'll say this dot height equals user dimension 2. What else did we do in this class? So then we returned user dimensions. We probably should have returned the method, but that's okay. Return. We'll just return user dimension 1 and user dimension 2. Or we'll return this plus user dimension 2, sorry. User dimension 2, that probably might add it. So what should we do here? We should this work. No, that might add it. Return public void, set dimensions. Could make this void. We're setting the dimensions, so our object's going to call this method. Pass these in. I think we could just make this void perhaps. And then we don't have to return anything. Or would we want to return our method? We'll just create this void and we'll come back. Set dimensions void. We'll just leave those for now. We'll come back to that. Then we'll do public get dimension, get dimensions, public double, get dimensions, and then we'll return our, what are we returning? This dot radius. We could return our dimensions, but that's yeah, doesn't really matter. We'll just do this dot height. Actually, maybe we could do this. Return user dimension 1 or height. Return, honestly, I think we don't need to return anything here. We're trying to set these parameters, and we'd want to pass those parameters in the method, but do we call it in main? No, we did not. Geometric shape, where's our 3D shape? Let's just run it, see what happens. Oh, we forgot our toString. It's exactly the same, so we can just copy it out. Copy that, save it and run it. There's no set dimensions. Do we not do that method? I thought we did. Oh yeah, it's double. So we'll just return something for now. Return user dimension. Okay, so we'll return user plus user dimension 2. But I think maybe, actually, you know what? Let's not, because I have a feeling there's no point of that. Let's change it to void. Let's change all of these to void. Comment this out. Void. Comment it out. Change that to void, save it, and then that should be all fine. Fine. Comment that out. Run our main. Cylinder is not abstract and does not override abstract method set dimension. I already did that. Change it to void. So why isn't it working? Set dimensions, set dimensions. Set dimensions, excuse me. What is up with this? It's not changing. Save, what's up with this? Is implemented in this.name. Okay, please run. It's not working. What's wrong here? User dimension 1 and 2. User, did I spell something wrong? Dimension 1, dimension 2. Line 3? We don't need this. Don't need that. Radius. Final. Extends. Geometric shape. Something's being funny here. Public class cube. Public class cylinder extends. Extends geometric shape. Did I spell it wrong? Takes one parameter. Maybe it's not like, oh, I think I know why. I think I know why, because we're passing 2 parameters in for cylinder and it wants only 1. See, watch, I think I'll comment this out, it's gonna work. Radius. Oh, what the, maybe because I spelled it wrong too? Is that why? Okay, maybe that's why too. One of those things. It's weird how it doesn't tell you what's spelled wrong either. Yeah, it doesn't like the fact, because that's an overloaded method now. So we can't really do that. So what we can do is we can say, excuse me, we can just pass 1 parameter and we can create 1 local. Say like user dimension 2, double user dimension 2. And what's up with this now? Double user dimension 2, would we have to put that up here? Yeah, probably would. So we'll put that up here. Okay. Kind of defeats the purpose because, you know, we're trying to pass in 2 dimensions, right? kind of annoying. It's kind of stupid too. Let's try that again. Double user dimension 2. Now I'm not getting an error. Why is that? Okay, there is an error right there. Is it because we've created one up here? No? Yeah, it doesn't like that. That's okay. Double, no, that should work. If we create it in the local class, in the local variable, I mean. I don't know why it wouldn't work. So I'll take one parameter out, it'll pass one dimension in. You can just say double user dimension 2. Then this dot height equals user dimension 2. Double user dimension 2. Okay. Okay, this is where we might need our scanner then. Import java.util.scanner. Private scanner, scan equals new scanner, pass system.in. And here we'll say double user dimension 2, this dot radius equals user dimension 1. Then here we'll system.out.println, enter enter a height. Or dimension 2. We'll say user dimension 2 equals scan.next double. Now that error goes away. Why is that though? Well, I guess it's just a null reference or something. Perhaps if we run that. Yeah, because it's not initialized, so it's saying two things are equal to each other, but like what's happening? So it doesn't like that. So we pass one in. It's kind of dumb because we're passing something in and it's like asking for it, right? But I guess it makes use of the abstraction, so that's okay. We'll just work with it. So we'll run it. So we got something, so now we have to change our 3D shapes. So 1, we got 0 and 4. So we'll say geometrics array of first index equals new. What else do we do? Cube. So we'll say new cube And just cube takes any double, so that should work. Cube just takes a length for a dimension. I guess we'll do all of them, or at least another one. So we'll say geometrics of 5 equals to new cube. No, sorry, that's wrong. So there we could pass in something, right? But right now, we already know what that's going to do, so let's test our other method. Can we create an object here? So we'd say I guess we'll just try a cube first. So cube. I think we could do it here, couldn't we? Cube. Cube equals new cube. And it takes a parameter, so let's just say 3.3. Then we'll say cube dot set dimensions. What do we pass in? It does pass something like that. Honestly, let's see if it works. Yeah, I think it works. It just didn't print anything out, right? Okay, so let's print out something. We don't have a toString, do we? We do have a toString, so let's just do system.out.println cube.setDimensions. What's up with that? Turn boolean. Cube. Okay, we're not returning anything, right? That is right. I think so. Okay, let's change this back to double. Double return user to oh, why did we take that away? Okay, return 3D shape cube. Double. Return user dimension 1 sphere. Double. Change that to double. Oh, what happened there? Okay, so double set dimensions. Return. What do we return in something? Return user dimension 1 plus user dimension 2. Now let's run it. Just gonna print us out the dimension, I think. There is our dimension. So what we should do is call formula So what we could do is we could call volume here, and then we could pass in dimension, right? Honestly, we could overload this method. Why don't we just do that? So let's try it. Public double volume. It'll take a double user dimension. We'll do the same calculation. Except we'll scan. No. What are we gonna do here? We could scan a dimension, but that's not what we want to do. We want to take our user dimension, instead of length, put user dimension. Something like that. Then on our set dimensions, we'll call volume with user dimension. So maybe that'll work. I think we're on the right path. So this is overloaded. Instead of just passing length, we'll pass in whatever we enter. So we'll try it, and we will run it. Cube. B formula equals math.pow. Passing in user dimension. Return V formula. So calling volume in our set dimensions. Oh, it's because we're returning dimensions. Returning user dimension, so instead of we could say set dimension, right? Then we could either return the volume with our new dimension, or we could just return our dimension. Let's try this. Just kind of playing around with it, I guess. So it was 7 plus that. So we could just return. Let's just return volume here. Since we're setting it, I'll just do system.out print line, and we'll say new dimension is plus user dimension. Then we'll just call the dimension and return the volume with the user dimension in the call. Whoops. So there we go, there's our set dimensions. Our new dimension is 7.0 and it calculates it for us. So set dimensions, you usually don't have to return anything. We could have just said void here, called, we could have set it, we could have actually passed some set dimensions in the volume itself. But we did make use of an overloaded method here, which is also good to practice that. What we could have done is we could have said, instead of, we could have set it to void. So let's just let's comment it out. Let's copy it. Let's uncomment this. Okay, that doesn't work because then I forgot what we did. So why are we getting a red thing here? So I had an idea. It's we set the dimension in here. So takes a dimension, prints the, we'll just return user dimension now. Comment that out. Turn user dimension. And in the volume method, we could have said, can you ever we could either overload it again, or we could just change this one. So it's this one, sorry. So we could overload it again, but I'm starting to confuse myself here. So we want to do is right here. We call set dimension. And what are we passing again? Of user dimension, right? Is that gonna work? It might. Okay, maybe we should override it again. Let's override it again. Overload it again. So public double volume double v formula. Let's just copy it. Since this code's taking a while to do. So we're doing all that. We're getting a thing here. So then we'll just pass. Here we'll say set dimensions. Pass user dimensions. Dimension. That we said. There we go. That should work. Something's red though. So we'll run it. Volume. Okay, yeah, it doesn't like this because the signature is the same. So can we change the signature? Public double volume. So what we did here is we passed in its own dimension. Could we do that here? Again, so user dimension. Yeah, so it doesn't like that because you need another parameter or something. So we'll scrap this one. And here we can change it to call set dimensions of user dimension. Save and run it. Should work. New dimension is 7.0. Volume. Our volumes change. Oh, I think we're changing our whole code now with the volume. Because we're saying our volume method for the cube. Okay. So our volume method for the cube, it's saying like, so we have two of them overloaded, and one of them we're passing in our set dimensions. So how many cubes did we do? We did one. And we did a sphere and a cube. So we can return the new volume with the user dimension. That should work. Happened there? Something blew up. Okay, new dimension is 7.0. Getting an infinity loop here. Cube 37. Okay, we'll just return our user dimension. Excuse me. Alright. Kinda lost track of what we're doing, but I think we did get it the first time we ran this. So we return our dimension, and to set it we could have called the volume without this overloaded method. So that's good for now, I think. We've gone over some stuff. Gone over a lot of stuff. We'll probably skip the triangular prism, but it's the same idea. We're creating an object array. We use these, so I guess we'll just do a run through. So in our main class, we created an object of 3D shapes. Then we created a cube. We set the dimensions. And the objective to set the dimensions was to change the volume, which is, I think, is what we did. Why don't we try to tag and see if it comes through. So system.out.println, we change the dimensions with set. Is this the method that's being called? Let's see. It's not the method that's being called. Why is that though? Oh, perhaps because we're creating this at the end. So if we do this here, might work now. Try it. Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work either. Yeah, that didn't even print. So we had it right. we create our constructor 3D shapes. Enter Y for dimension, sets it up. Oh, I put a breakpoint there, that's what it was. Okay, so public double set dimensions. What did we do last time? We returned the volume with the new dimension. Is that the best objective here? I wanted to call set dimension in our volume method because we already did that, the first thing I just said. We did that already. It ran earlier. But the goal was to call volume and set the dimension with what we called, but I think the problem with that is I don't see why it shouldn't work. Wait a minute, I think I know why. 3D shapes. Can we create a shape here? For here. Let's try that. Okay, then we could call cube dot volume. Is that what we want to do? Cube. So we're going to pass a parameter in there, then dimensions is going to set it up. It's kind of redundant, but why not? Let's try it. So we changed the new dimensions. The volume didn't get printed. Let's try printing it out. We have the right idea here. We're just like on the path that's close by the one that we wanted to do. That's the thing with coding, you gotta keep trying around for a while, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, so by the time you figure something out, you're already kinda like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that, but we did this. Then I have to go back and change it. So we did print a volume with the new dimension. I think what we were trying to do was just call set dimension and change the volume without calling it. So if we wanted to just set dimension and then call volume, and then automatically it would have just changed. So I think we would have just done a void for that then. And we would have not needed to do that. We could have just said made a variable global and just changed it around. I've done it before tons of times, I just don't know why. It's not clicking at this second. Set dimension. Distal length equals user dimension. That's all we needed. Change this to abstract. Just give it one more shot, 'cause it's getting tired here, but we'll just change it to void. Void. Don't need to print out here anything. It's okay. Let's comment that out. So the goal was to just set the dimensions. One sec, sorry. Had to blow my nose, alright, so set dimensions and then call volume. So just a global variable would be fine. Distal length equals user dimension. Okay, I think I got something here. Got something. So if we created a shape now in main, cube equals new cube, and we need a length to start. Then we'll say cube dot set dimensions. Change that to like 9.2. Right? Now cube dot volume. Yes. Now that set dimension should automatically update. Let's run it. Comment that out. New dimension is 9.2. We didn't print this out. There, I think that worked. 9. Let's do 9. What's 9 times 9? 9 times 9 is 81 times 9. 72, 70 something. Hopefully it worked. Because 7 should be different. So we'll just do that. I think it does work because look, run this again. So run it again. Type Y or capital Y. Let's put 6.4. Then we'll say, look, sphere is this. So in our sphere class, we hard coded 1. No, we hard coded. What did we hard code? No, that's in our 3D shapes. So we hard coded 1 with 5.0, right? So 1's 5.0. Then new cube with 4.0. And then, because our sphere volume, do we not do any surface area? Okay, we are getting some. Yeah, so sphere 10 times 1. I think it's working. Cube was, what do we put for the first cube? For the first cube we said 4.0, right? So was there only one cube? Yeah, there's only one cube, right? Then look at this cube. We set it to here. How about this? What do we set it to? 4.0? 4.0. So let's set this one to 8. Just so we know it doubles. So volume is 64. And so what's the cube volume? Formula. So it's length to the power of 3. So length which was 4.0 times 4.0 4.0, is that what we put? Cube because geometrics of 1. Where's geometrics of 1? Geometrics of 1 is here. Sphere, 0, cube. So we said 4.0. So 4.0 times 4.0. Or 4 times 4 times 4, 64. Okay, so what's 8 times 8 times 8? 512. Yeah, so it worked. It actually worked. It updated automatically. So we made a cube. We called it 3D shapes. We got 3D shapes to set up all of that. Then after that, we just created a cube. Why do we give it a parameter again? Because it takes a length. So it just takes a length, and then we say cube.set dimensions. So this dot length equals if we change this, hopefully it doesn't affect it. It's just holding a variable. It's not calculating anything from the constructor, I believe. Yeah, so it worked. We're just gonna end it there. Sorry about all that, because I'm kind of doing this by it's off the top of my head. So it is a long code. It's like an hour and a half with both videos. I'll probably either upload them together or just one by one. So probably not gonna do a recap because it's gonna take too long. But we did manage to get the cube to set its length and update automatically. That's what we wanted to do. So we just wanted to set our dimensions globally without having to hard code it. So we set our dimensions and then we just called volume. And with those dimensions, our volume was updated automatically. So that's the point of an accessor. That's what you want to do. You want it to update automatically without having to go into the code and actually change the number. You want to just call the method again, so it just changes whenever you want. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.